Hey everybody, we're back. Actually, it's been like 2 fucking weeks. We had a pretty big snowstorm, and so I just didn't get a whole lot of work done. But you can see we're marching right along. I did a lot of work yesterday, and I didn't record it because the camera was out of battery. So that's my bad. Basically all we did, we cut this, which not that cool. You've seen cuts before. We cut this out. So this was basically all I did yesterday. So we cut this out, drilled 2 holes, and I'm gonna get to something that I would change about this here in a second. Drilled this hole back here, and then this is actually just threaded instead of welding another nut on there. Trying to watch my zinc intake. I've been breathing a little bit too much in from welding all of these bolts and shit that off-gas the zinc. Then this was already cut out, if you'll remember. We drilled some, I think these are 5/8 holes, 5/16, 5/16. Drilled this through for the axle, lopped off this back edge, drilled a hole right here, and now the original plans had say to cut a hole big enough to accommodate like the head of the carriage bolt. Let's see if I have a carriage bolt. Like this. So it says to drill a hole big enough to fit a carriage bolt head. And that's fucking huge. That's like, I want to say that's getting close to an inch. That's like probably 3/4, 5/8, I don't know. So, I mean, you can do it, but in 1/4 inch steel, I mean, if you have a drill bit that big, I don't have a drill bit that big. I think my biggest drill bit is probably 1/2 inch. Yeah, this is it, 1/2 inch right here. So there's no way that I'm gonna drill a hole big enough for this. My other option is to cut out a hole, but to plunge cut a hole in here, not gonna mess with it. So the way that I did it was I used some silicon bronze. Let's see if you can see this. See how that's welded on? So there's actually a nut there, and I've silicon bronzed with my TIG a nut to the base metal, and then filled in the hole that I drilled in the back with some silicon bronze. And just, you know, I've never used silicon bronze before. That shit is awesome. It flows so easy. The nice part is you aren't melting your base metal. So theoretically I can do this on galvanized stuff. I mean, it's for joining like pieces, like you can use silicon bronze to even join like 2 way dissimilar metals. Copper to steel, no problem. You get silicon bronze on. So then let me put it down. So then the axle goes in, and then this, by turning this, you can increase or decrease the tracking angle. You see how it sort of lifts up and out? That increases the angle or decreases. So like I said before, there's something I would change about this. What I should have done, and if I build another one in the future, I would do this. Right here, see how I've kind of done it? I've kind of moved it out a little bit. Right now there's no negative rake angle, so if the belt needs to go in, the most I can do is feather this out and get a level rake angle, which might not work. So we might actually end up having to chop another section and rebuild this, we would be able to still use this outer piece, but if we moved this axle further forward so that there was negative angle, sorry, if we moved this axle forward so there was negative rake angle, I should have done that. So if you're using these plans, don't go straight down the center, move it out a little bit, and also move just so that you can have this out and have this angle come back in, and then you push it up out, and that's gonna let you more accurately control this angle. So anyway, and there's our spring in there. We haven't welded this down yet. I'm still working out the motor. What I was going to do for the motor was use this same setup I have for my drill press, because it's the same motor. This is a treadmill motor. And hook it up to one of these routers, these speed control routers from Harbor Freight, and it goes into a diode bridge rectifier and converts it to DC, which the motor can run on. So I actually had this welded onto the flywheel. You can see it broke off. I don't know how. I'm probably gonna have to silicon bronze this onto it. One, this is just too heavy, and two, it was way off center. Way too much wobble, and I don't know if that's a problem with the casting or if it was like I showed you in the other video. This whole, I just don't know. I don't think I'll be able to use it. It just never, I can't get it indicated right. I don't know if it's like cut off center, like if there's a slope and it's tilting. I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. I would suspect it's just because it's cast and it's not ever made to go very fast. The tolerances just aren't that high. So we're gonna have to figure something out. Anyway, so I was gonna use this router speed control, and I hooked it up, and it just doesn't go slow enough. I mean, if you think about it, these things are made to control routers, and you're never ever going to be able or need to go like super slow with the router, because it still needs to cut, it still needs to go pretty fast. This belt grinder, it doesn't need to be going 2500 RPM. But I don't know, we're gonna have to figure something out. I got a few different, so I got 2 different drives, and I'll probably make a video about what I'm doing with the drives. Anyway, you guys are probably getting bored. Let's get to it. So, I made a Fusion 360 for this platen. That's what we're going to be working on today. I made a Fusion 360 model of this platen. I just tried to hairspray it on. That didn't work. I don't have any glue stick. So what we're going to do, we're going to break out the plasma cutter. I'm going to cut this and then grind it down to size. And I'll make this, I have it in a PDF, and it's kind of split off because it needs to fit on one piece of paper. And as you know, a piece of paper is only 11 inches long, so it's printed out on an angle over the whole sheet of paper, so that you can get most of it. You don't really need the corners, because the corners get a radius on them anyway. So what we're going to do, we're going to plasma cut this out, grind it down to size, and then as you can, I don't know if you can see, but I've already center punched where the center punch marks are, and I exported this as a PDF, so I'm going to make this available to you guys if you want. It should make this pretty easy. Anyway, this is 3/16 steel. As you can see, it's a little bit thicker than this. This is, I think this is 1/8, so it's 2/16 over here, and it specifies in the plans that this should be 3/16. So I just, luckily enough, I had a scrap piece of 3/16 out. So let's break out the plasma welder. It's in here. We'll plasma cut it out, throw it in the vise, and grind it down to size. So let's get going. So honestly, so this is one of those 3-in-1s that does stick, TIG, and then plasma cutting. And honestly, the plasma cutting is really wimpy. You can see it eats through these like nothing. So if you get one, I mean, would I buy it again? Absolutely. It'll eat through these electrodes so fast you'll be surprised. You can even see it's sort of even eats through the torch part. I don't know if that's replaceable, so might end up having to get a new torch. Pretty simple though. It looks just like a normal. There's like a little swirl cup. That was the first thing that went. Just because it broke. Probably from me tightening it too much, honestly. And then these, I'll probably use another one. I'll replace this one right now, and I'll probably end up putting another one on by the time I finish this cut. Just to give you an idea. So I ordered a whole bunch of all of the consumables. And it's cheap. It's like 25 bucks for all of the consumables, so I mean, it's definitely worth it. For what I paid for this machine, I think it was like $400. And honestly, so the TIG works really well actually, and then the stick works awesome too. Not that it's hard. And then this works decently well. So for $400, it's, I mean, of course. So people give Chinese stuff a bad rap, but it's honestly, it's not that bad. This is how I've always tested if I have enough air. I don't know, you can see that, how it pushes your skin in. So if you can see it pushing your skin in, then that's enough. Alright, here we go. Sparkling down my shoe. Ow! Just like that. I love using this thing. So much fun. It's not like it gives a bad cut. That was, I mean, all of this is my fault. This one's better. I was going way too slow here and it just produces slag, but it's not a big deal because I'm going to grind it down to size it anyway. So, but it's so much fun to use. You with me? So, I don't know if you saw, I crayon marked out where I need to grind to. I actually don't, we'll see if I'm going to fill it, give this a radius on the corners. But for right now, we're just going to take things down to dimensional size. Yeah, here we go. I think we're gonna have you guys time warp because I have to take this much off the rest. I don't think you guys want to watch that. So, see you when we're done. And final update for the day. What do you think? I think we did pretty good, guys. So, these are all 1/4 inch, 3/8 and a half. And I deburred them with my little deburr tool. I think that's going to work really well. It'll, I guess, fit up like that. Once we drill holes in that. And the best part is, we only had one fatality. We fucked this one good and proper. So, no sharpening that one. Oh well. So we're out of the light. It's time to say goodbye. We'll see you on the next one.